I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God coming to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we talk that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Come with all your dishes, pots, pans, forks, knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment, and a hotel room. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here, right here, is about to be holy ground. This is gonna be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the greatest. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
We don't give a fuck. You can see it in our faces. Got it out the mud. Straight up out the base.
Shalom, shalom. You tuned in live to another episode of The Bible is Black. We highlight race in the Bible. The so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. You understand? We highlighting in the Bible. Our lives are recorded in the Bible, recorded in the scriptures. Our heritage is in the Bible. You understand? We're going to get into it today. Today's episode we're going to talk about is the projects, the slums, the res, the reservation, the favela, the barrio. You understand? The jailhouse, the prison house, the cell block. You understand? On the island, in the bay. You understand? The Bible is black, highlighting our lives, things that are unique to our people that we are known for. You understand? That we make these things popular in the earth. They are also recorded in the Bible. See, we're going to get into it real quick here. You understand? Also, if you like these videos, be sure to leave a comment on our YouTube page. Subscribe, like, share, thumbs up, leave a comment. We like to hear what you thought about the video. You understand? We like to hear. We create dialogue and share this so as many brothers and sisters can wake up to the truth. You understand? And we appreciate all your support here at I.S.U.P.K, Virginia. Of course, I'm Precinct Captain 10,000, not the Zach Nashad. You understand? So we're going to get into it. The projects is recorded in the Bible. The slums, the reservations, the ghetto, the barrio that are famous and known and infamous and notorious for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? Your rappers have popularized the projects. You understand? Whether you at Holly Grove, you understand, or Magnolia, or Melphamine, or Calliope, listening to No Limit and Master P and C Murder and Baby and Cash Money and BG and Birdman, Josephine, Street Projects and the Magnolia and the Melphamine, or Marcy Projects with Jay-Z, or the Taft Houses with Jim Jones, or in Harlem and Brooklyn, or in, you understand, Detroit, and Murphy Homes in Baltimore, Cabrini Green. You understand? And the Jackson Ward and the Mosby Gardens and the projects in Tidewater Gardens. You understand? All of these things, or Bankhead Courts, very famous projects, Cabrini Green in Chicago, Tivoli Gardens in Jamaica. You understand? The slums, the favelas in Brazil, Silas in Trinidad. You understand? Like our communities and places are known for these things. All of the hoods, all the ghettos, the slums, the projects, Lemoyne Gardens in Tennessee. You understand, all of the cities and towns that are known for. So we're going to jump into it. It is recorded in the Bible. All right, so let's get into it here. It says, but this is a people. When it says a people, meaning this entire race, meaning these people are known for something, meaning this people, something that is characteristics of these people. This is a people that is robbed and spoiled. It says robbed because as a people, these 12 tribes, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have been robbed more than every people on the planet Earth. These 12 tribes here, we have been robbed more than every last race of people, every nation of people on the entire earth at any point in time. We've been robbed of our heritage, of our history, of our land, of our language, our identity. We've been robbed of even knowing who the rest of our people are. The transatlantic slave trade separated us from our heritage and our culture. What they don't know is the very history of the transatlantic slave trade. It started with the so-called Native Americans. Christopher Columbus took natives from the coast of America, from the east and from the islands, you understand, of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. They took the natives and shipped them back up to Seville, Spain, to be slaves in Spain. And then they continued their expedition. The people who were enslaved, they tried to enslave the natives, but their diseases from the Europeans, because they were such a filthy, inbred, and disgusting animal, that the diseases that they spread was so rampant that it damn near decimated. 77 million Native Americans died when the conquistadors, when Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims, the Jesuits, the Christians, the Europeans, the Rosicrucians, when they came to America, they absolutely decimated our brothers, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Reuben, you understand? They murdered countless Mexicans to steal California and Mexico. To this day, California and Mexico are known worldwide, all throughout the planet. People know of Hollywood and San Diego and SeaWorld, you understand, and Disney World, the land, whichever one is in California. But in reality, all of that land belongs to the so-called Mexicans. Everybody knows Disney World, but nobody considers that Disney World was illegally placed on Mexicans' land. Everybody knows Texas. Everybody knows Texas, but Texas belongs to the so-called Mexicans. When the Bible says this is a people robbed and spoiled, everything that our people create is stolen from us, and everybody gets the credit, like the laptop, you understand, like the cell phone, the video game console. To the average person, Nintendo or Sony PlayStation or Microsoft Xbox or Atari made the video game console. But a black man named Jerry Lawson is responsible for the first at-home video game console. You understand? The refrigerator, the TV, the freezer, the icebox. The Lord says that Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, all so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of Indian and Negro descent. We descend from this one man named Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, and we are the 12 tribes from his 12 sons that he had. So-called Puerto Ricans, Haitians, Guatemalans, Mexicans, Dominicans, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, so-called West Indians, so-called Negroes, Afro-Americans, Haitians, Brazilians, Colombians of the Indian and Negroid descent, you understand? The natives of the Caribbean, all the Aztecs and Toltecs and Mayans and Inca and the Arawaks and the Caribs, you understand, and the Tainos. We are God's chosen people. And the Lord said this entire people is robbed and spoiled. Meaning a spoil is when you go to war and the losing side loses, everything that the winner takes is a spoil. Our heritage they've stolen. The Jewish man claims that he is the real Jews, when that is the heritage of so-called Haitians, so-called West Indians, so-called Negroes. That's our heritage, but they stole that from us, you understand? This land was stolen from the North American Indians, you understand? Our land is the Middle East and Israel. We come from Jerusalem. Galatians 4:26 say Jerusalem is the mother of us all, not Africa. They lied and made up that we was Africans in 1844. They made that up. The Africans knew we weren't the same as them. That's why they sold us. We were completely different in the land of Africa. We spent centuries fighting the so-called Africans from the eastern side all the way to the west, where we finally settled. The entire Old Testament is us with wars against the Hamites, the Jebusites and Girgashites and Hittites and Havites and Canaanites and Perizzites and Philistines and Pharisaites. Those are so-called Africans. We've spent centuries, thousands of years fighting them, and then our oppressor put us in slavery and then turn around and tell you you are African, and you believe that for the rest of your life. So you wear them silly kente cloths with all the mismatched orange and brown and green colors that the Nigerians made up for themselves. You trying to be Wakanda forever and African and with your RGB flag, and Africa has nothing to do with you or your people. The Haitians tried to join the United Nations in Africa. They tried to join the African Council of Nations, talking about we children of the diaspora, and the Africans told the Haitians that you're not African enough to be with us. All the colonization, all the wars, everything going on from one end to the other end of Africa, they all speak in French. And who's not speaking French? They speak in Italian and Arabic in the north, all in Algeria, Morocco, and Tunis. Meanwhile, you're not African enough. Like, you are not one of these people. Our identity has been robbed from us, our land, all of the riches and goods. Right now, they're in poverty in Central and South America because our oppressor in America will not allow them to be strong. The CIA started civil wars and set up drug cartels throughout the 50s, 60s, and 70s to make sure that Latin America was never strong enough to stand on their own, because they were afraid that Latin America would ally with Russia. So they made sure that they permanently destabilized the economy by setting up the CIA, giving them military weapons and assault rifles. That's how the Mexican cartels, the Cali cartel in Colombia and Bogota, all of Manuel Noriega in Panama, that whole Iran-Contra scandal, setting up all of these drug trafficking routes and drug gangs and cartels. You understand? They robbed and spoiled to make sure that our societies were unstable, like the Jones Act that they passed in Puerto Rico to make sure that now you had to pay a tax on goods that own right here in your land. The silver mines in Bolivia owned by rich senators in Congress, you understand? The very fruit trees, Del Monte and Dole fruits in Tropicana, all of that belongs to the natives. All of that land and all of the fruits that Spain stole when they set up colonies. France stole when they set up colonies. America, the English stole when they set up colonies. All of that belongs to the natives. All of the fruits, all of the gold and pearls and all of the wood and land and resources that the Portuguese and French and Dutch and Italians and Germans and Irish, they set up shop all throughout Central South America and the Caribbean, along with the East Indians and the Chinese and the Koreans, and they got filthy rich off of our people while we die and struggle the way that the scriptures is saying. The same way that they set up Subways and Baskin Robbins, you understand, and 7-Eleven and shops and restaurants and nail salons and beauty supply stores and carryouts all in the Black community here in America. That's exactly what they've done all throughout Central South America and the Caribbean. So when the Lord, and this is the thing, this has been going on for centuries. Them little African civil wars, the little Rwanda war here, the little war between Eritrea and Ethiopia, the little Darfur conflict with 2 million people dying. This has been going on with our people since the 1400s. And we are still under these people. We still spending their money, their faces on the currency. They still own the land. We still speaking their English and their Spanish, their French, their Dutch, their Portuguese, their educational system, and their Christianity or their Islam or their Rastafarianism, which is the culture of the East Indians, worshiping Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie don't have a damn thing to do with God's chosen people. He said himself he was not King Solomon, and you worshiping him like not knowing your culture, with dreadlocks in your hair that you learned from the East Indians. That's not even African culture. That's the worship of the Hindu goddess Shiva. We don't come from Africa. The ganja plant comes from India, the same place you get your Percocets, made by the poppy leaves where you get your opium, your heroin, your syrup, your lean, your liquid heroin, and your codeine. All of that comes from India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, those fields, you understand? You've been completely robbed and spoiled of your culture and your heritage as a people. That's why the Lord sent the I.S.U.P.K to teach our people how to recover our heritage and who you truly are in the earth. Every race of people knows their identity of their people. We the only people where all of us the same and we all have a different idea of who we are. All got different and separate beliefs, and every other race of people knows that, and they exploit you to no end because of it. You understand? And your leaders, your religious leaders in these churches and mosques, your political leaders, they all know, and they don't give a damn enough to tell you the truth about who you actually are. They've been fighting to stop the truth from coming out since the 60s when we were telling our people all of the heritage. The I.S.U.P.K been saying this since 69. And they've been fighting to get their own movements and things going to stop you from waking up to the knowledge of your true identity so you can call on the God of your fathers for real and actually fix and solve the problems of our people that we talking about right here. So when the Bible says this is a people, meaning our entire people, if you go to Mexico, if you go to Brazil, if you go to Colombia or Venezuela or El Salvador or Jamaica, you understand? You go to a different city or state, you go to Detroit, you go to California, you go to New Orleans, you're going to find that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we stuck in these same positions everywhere we are on the earth. And let's get it. What are these positions? It says this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes. What is a hole? A trap. We in the drug gang, trapped in the drug gang, trapped on drugs, trapped on cigarettes. The drugs that we taking is so common. The weed, the Percocets, is killing us at such a rate that brothers is dying at 30 years old when they filthy rich. Michael K. Williams was filthy rich. That brother didn't make it out of his filthies. Michael Jackson was filthy rich, died at 50 years old. Whitney Houston, filthy rich, died at 50 years old, horrible drug problems. Prince, filthy rich for decades, 50-something years old, died of a drug addiction, drug problems, man. Juice WRLD, young brother, 20 years old, filthy rich, died of a drug addiction. Nate Dogg and Pimp C, hearts give out, back-to-back, having heart attacks, 30-something years old, 38, 37. You're not supposed to be dying at 38 and 37. Heart attacks, lean, smoking weed, getting high, snorting cocaine. We trapped in a cycle in a hole that's so big and it's so common and it's killing so many of us that we don't even see that this is a hole. AIDS been killing Black people, disproportionately killing, because y'all don't want to listen to us or the Bible. Our oppressor Center for Disease Control said that a homosexual Black and Hispanic, man and woman, have a greater chance of getting and dying from HIV and AIDS than any other race of people on the entire planet here in America with the greatest economy on the planet. You understand? With 911, all kind of government structures, emergency health care and medicines and everything, you live in that lifestyle. That LGBT lifestyle and community been killing us since the 80s. And Black people still, to this day, that nonsense is still around and is promoted, and your kids and your young brothers and sisters is swallowing up and joining into this lifestyle, knowing all the AIDS that's been killing our people from taking on that lifestyle since the 80s. That's a hole. That's a snare and a trap, you understand? Knowing how drugs destroying us, all the crack that we smoked in the 80s, all the drug dealing that we had in the 90s, all the heroin and the weed, thousands and thousands of murders every year, all in New Orleans and Philly and Baltimore, we still in that hole. They legally selling the drugs now in stores. We still in that hole killing each other, trapped in the streets. You poor in the ghetto, you'll die in the streets in a murder. You are rich, you still end up dying to that street life, just like King Von, just like FBG Duck, just like all the young brothers dying rapping in Chicago. All the young brothers dying, getting killed, rapping in Detroit, rapping in New Orleans, still in that street life, dying, just like King Von. You understand? Just like, what's the brother's name? Young Dolph in Memphis. All the shootings, all the robberies, all the brothers going back and forth to prison, leaving that street life. Young brothers still doing the same robberies, murders, and shootings that we had going on since we integrated with our oppressor back in the 80s. Is still going on the exact same way. We snared in a hole. You've been voting since Martin Luther King. For 50, 60 years, we've been voting. And since we had the right to vote, you stopped having hope in the regulation of your own neighborhoods and communities. And now you depend on an elected official who's sitting rich somewhere in his own private office getting money and paid from people with money. And you thinking that he's supposed to come and fix the problems in your community where you live that you don't want to deal with. Because the Christian church taught you just got to sing and pray at a problem, and that's going to make everything go away. That we've been doing that nonsense, putting teddy bears on light poles and t-shirts and candlelight visuals, painting murals on the goddamn wall, going to church praying over the community. None of that nonsense worked. We've been doing that silly nonsense since the 80s. The murders is still going on. The kidnappings is still happening. The child molestation is still going on. The human trafficking is still going on. We still getting our cities gentrified. We still ain't safe. The kids still truant, not going to school. Your kids is getting pregnant, having abortions, dying, getting abortions, hiding it behind you. We trapped and snared in holes. We trapped in Christianity, thinking that praying to our oppressor is going to fix our problems. You understand? Praying to Donald Trump, hoping that the situation will get better. Praying to Joe Biden and Bill and Hillary Clinton. You get game after game after game run on us as a people because we still will not leave these religious institutions and stop playing in our oppressors' politics and turn back to the God of our fathers in this Bible and actually do what he says. And the only place you can learn to do that is in the I.S.U.P.K. It said they are all snared in holes and are hid in prison houses. What is a prison house, man? What does it say, hid in prison house? Pelican Bay is a prison house. The Rikers Island complex is a prison house. Disproportionately, so-called Blacks and Hispanics make up the vast majority of all inmates in the United States of America's Department of Corrections. At the federal level, at the adult level, at the juvenile level, we are disproportionately mass incarcerated in the United States of America. How is that? Because God said us as a people, we are robbed and spoiled and hid in prison houses. You understand? Piled in, all Black, all Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Mexican. You understand? Piled, hid in prison houses, man. This is what the Bible is talking about. Every race of people is not piled in these prison houses. If there were as many Chinese in America's prisons as it was Blacks and Hispanics, the Chinese would declare war on America. If there were as many, you understand, Koreans or Arabs sitting in America's detention centers, sitting in the immigration customs enforcement centers, in the immigration detention centers, the way that they do so-called Hispanics, do you know the Arabs would be, they'd be declaring war all over America, all in America. You understand? They'd have to call emergency council session meetings for the Senate, for the House. Everybody would be in emergency councils to deal with the situation. But because our lives do not matter to America, they allowed to stack and warehouse us in prisons with no consequence. Your leaders don't say anything. In fact, your Black, Hispanic, and Native American leaders, the ones that ain't too much of a goddamn coward that won't open their mouth anyway, the rest of them is such a damn coward, they the ones that beg your oppressors to throw us in these damn prison houses. Meanwhile, all of the money to combat all of the poverty, all of the violence and drug trafficking that's fueled by the poverty that America gives them money to take care. America gives plenty of money to these Black leaders to take care of all the problems in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, but your leaders hate you. Your Hispanic leaders, your preachers, your pastors, your Native American leaders, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, They despise our people. They could give a damn what's going on with us. That's why they so quiet. Do you know they said that they lost 15,000 Hispanic babies from El Salvador and Guatemala and Honduras? They said they lost 15,000 about 10 years ago. You ain't heard nothing else about it. Now they talking about they lost an additional 1,200. They don't know where the hell they are. And nobody give a damn. You go to church on Sunday, your pastor won't open his goddamn mouth about it. You go to that stupid intercessory prayer or that choir rehearsal, your preacher won't open his goddamn mouth about all the missing Hispanic babies that they done stole and kidnapped and got on farms picking cotton, picking fruits, you understand, and vegetables to ship to your grocery stores, just like they busted 5-7 plantations down in Georgia filled with Hispanic brothers and sisters. They busted plantations where they warehoused and got them under armed guard like we back in the 1500s on plantations picking fruits and vegetables going right to your grocery store right now. Your leaders don't open their goddamn mouth about this to this very day, just like they don't say anything while these police officers is murdering brothers, kicking in doors, taking children away, all kind of nonsense and havoc that's being done to our people. You know why? Because they are not the men that God appointed. But you chose your own leaders with your vote, like Martin Luther King told you to do. You chose these leaders. The leaders God set up would never allow this to happen. Commander Gen.YAHANNA is who God put in charge of all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is a prison house right here. It's called a reservation. After our oppressor murdered the tribe of Gad, they forced them from their lands. They forced them all across America to walk from the East Coast to the reservations. It was called the Indian Removal Act. And they put them on those reservations, houses full of mold, all kind of shacks and mildews, barely got electricity and running water. That's the life that our people are living here in America. This is a prison house. The projects is a prison house. The favelas, all in Central and South America, all in Jamaica, all in New Orleans, all across all the ghettos and slums. These are prison houses, the Lord said. We hidden away out of society where you just supposed to sit and suffer and struggle and die and cry and drown in your sorrow and misery, while America give billions of dollars of aid to any mud hole country on the planet Earth, and then turn around and tell you that you the problem in America, that you the problem, while they starve everybody to death. Starve El Salvador, starve Mexico, starve Guatemala, starve Colombia, starve Venezuela, starve all of the countries, man. Starve Brazil, and then turn around and look at you like you the problem after they stop your ability to earn money. And then they make sure that you got a criminal lifestyle and a path that's set ahead of you so that they can mass incarcerate you for generations to come in a Department of Corrections in a prison system. This is all a setup and a plan. That's why the Lord said this is a people robbed and spoiled and hid in prison houses. You understand? You go to prison, you'll see where all the Black and Hispanics are. You'll see where all the brothers are. You understand? Hid in a prison house. You don't even know that Native Americans still exist. You understand? You would think that they all got wiped out the way that they teach and educate you in school. They don't ever tell you about this. This is the lifestyle that they got brothers and sisters, the tribe of Gad, living, man. If you are so-called Native American, if you so-called Hispanic, you understand, you so-called Afro-American, you understand, a so-called Haitian or West Indian, you get in the I.S.U.P.K, man. Look at this. This is how they set up for our people to live. And then flood these same communities with drugs, have the police in there breaking jaws, kicking in doors, you understand, pulling you over, taking and pounding your damn car, shutting your legal businesses down. They know exactly what the hell they doing, man. It says they are for a prey, meaning every nation of people can come and prey on us. That's why they all set up businesses over the top of us. They know you struggling, so they know that you will be willing to work for little to no money. They know that they'll get you on their job and then not pay you what you actually worth. And if you complain, they'll call the police and say you starting trouble and get your freedom and maybe even your life taken away. Karen know when she called 911, she know that she calling the police with the hopes that they'll either take your freedom or take your life away. Same reason they call. Your son, your baby, your daughter set up a lemonade stand. They're going to call the police to see if they can come and destroy it. You understand? Like, this is the lifestyle that our people are living. It said, and none delivereth. Nobody delivering our people out of this hellhole, man. Nobody even concerned or give a damn. They act like it's your problem, like it's your fault. You understand? It says, and none saith restore. Nobody want to restore our people except the prophets of God in the I.S.U.P.K, man. You understand? This is what the Lord said. Job chapter 20 and verse 19. It says this, he have oppressed and forsaken the poor. They oppress the poor. A people that's already down and struggling, they further oppress our people for absolutely no reason. There's no reason to do this. All of the trillions of dollars of wealth and power that America has to give money to India, money to Israel, money to everywhere, they have all of the wealth and power absolutely necessary to stop all the hell that our people are going through. But this is how their society functions. This is how it was made to function. That's why Christ died, for us to have a completely separate world. And that's why your preachers are so evil, teaching you Christianity, which is the exact world Christ died to save us from. He died so that we wouldn't have to be in the Romans world with their Roman gods and their idols and statues underneath of their foot whenever they decide to step on our people and split up our families and kill our babies and put us in cages. We'd have our own separate world. If we were separate the way that God said, which is holy according to the scriptures, they couldn't take Hispanic babies away and put them in dog cages. They couldn't separate our families at the borders. They couldn't mass incarcerate blacks and Hispanics. They couldn't put Native Americans on reservations and starve them to death. They would not be able to do this. They would have to treat us as a separate nation of people, which is what we truly are, the same way they have to deal with the Chinese and the Arabs and the East Indians and the various Africans and all of the other people in America. But because the foolish Black, Hispanic, and Native American leaders and your Christian preachers and your religious leaders teach you that you want and a part of America and join in with your slave master, that's why they treat us this way. If we were separate, they would have to deal with us as another nation. Then they turn around and tell you that it's not about race, but you the only race of people getting treated this way. And everybody comes from another country. The Chinese come from China. America getting ready to go to war with China, Russia, Iran, all of them. At any moment, they get ready to go to war. And they all over America, and you ain't never seen the police snatching them out of their churches. You ain't never seen the police killing them at traffic stops. They ain't obeying no laws. License registration is out. All kind of drug trafficking and crimes. They don't even make the news with their crimes. America has an invested interest into making sure that you are viewed as the criminal, that you are viewed as the savage, that you are the outlaw and the gang member and the cartel and the illegal. You understand? They do that on purpose because they are our oppressors. And that is what they are supposed to do. And you are supposed to be separate from their lifestyle, their religion, and their cultures and build up your own nation. But you've never been taught that because you've been in church your whole life, praying to a picture of Donald Trump, wondering why life doesn't get better. You understand? It says, because he had violently taken away a house which he buildeth not. He violently took away the homes of all the Mexican brothers and sisters from California, in Texas, to set up his own homes. They violently took away the homes of the Cheyenne and the Cherokee and the Cree and the Seminole and the Arapaho. You understand? And the Osage and the Lakota and Oglala and the Sioux. You understand? And the Iroquois and the Wampanoag. You understand? And the Saginaw. He violently took away all of their homes so that they can set up Kansas, so that they can set up Missouri and St. Louis and Mississippi and Alabama and they 13 colonies and the Oregon territories and the Louisiana territories so that they could set up themselves. They violently took away our homes. You understand? And a house which he buildeth not. The same way that they violently took away our homes in Israel when we ran into Africa in the first place. You understand? John chapter 1 and verse 45, just to tell you, and Philip findeth Nathanael and said unto him, We have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Jesus, the son of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. They found Jesus. This is talking about Jesus in the Bible. Your preacher ain't never going to show you this. Said that they found Jesus, he from Nazareth. What did they say about Nazareth? He said, and Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Why did he say, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Why did he say that? Jesus Christ was from Nazareth. Why would they say, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Because Nazareth was the projects. Nazareth was the slums. Nazareth was the favela. Nazareth was the barrio. Nazareth was Callio. Nazareth was Mosby Courts. You understand? Nazareth was the Jackson Ward. That's why he said that. Nazareth was Sao Paulo. You understand? That's why he said, can any good thing come from Nazareth? Can any good thing come from that? Jesus Christ was a black man born in the slums, born in the projects, in the ghettos of Nazareth. That's why they question, could any good thing come from Nazareth? You understand? Jesus Christ was not a white man. He was a black man from the slums of Nazareth, from the ghetto, from the projects, from the barrio, from the favela, from the res. That's where Jesus Christ was born. That's where he was from. You understand? All right. And with that, this has been another episode of The Bible is Black. You understand? The jailhouse, the prison house, the res, the projects, the barrio, the favela are all in the Bible. So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, we are God's chosen people. Comment, like, share, subscribe, tune in for another episode. Shalom.
I.S.U.P.K. 53rd Annual Lord's Passover.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K. down in Florida. I'm Captain of 10,000 GEN.YAHANNA. We here to let you know. 53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida. It's going down in South Florida, Cocoa Beach.
Friday, April 15th, 2022.
The lamb, the wine, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you understand? Good music, good weather, palm trees, the whole nine.
This is going to be glorious. Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
April 15th and the 16th. Don't just book for the 15th. Book for the 15th and the 16th.
It's going down Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
Moses told Pharaoh we need 3 days to be able to go out into the wilderness and serve our power the way he commands. You're going to have to get that off with your boss, with your slave master. So make sure you in the building. Cocoa Beach, Florida, April 15th to 16th, 2022 is going down. We'll see y'all there. Shalom.
Black power, 144,000. I'm just trying to make 144,000. 144,000.